A moment of silence as we remember that Cactus Canyon is still in beta. Hello everybody, it's Daniel here, bringing you a Team Fortress 2 gameplay commentary. As it turns out, it's the 502nd update that's the big one to celebrate. Don't mind the 500 update, that's just some more localization files for some more countries that Valve recently discovered that had not yet been localized. That's the 500 update. 502nd though, this is the big summer update we've been waiting for. And there's a lot here. It officially launches tomorrow. It's the Gun Mettle update. If you have not seen it already, there is a link to it in the description. There's a huge list of things happening for this, and I'll be going into all of it in detail tomorrow. I'm trying to wait till this actually launches before I start kind of dissecting everything there is, because there's no point in really analysing it all today, because it's all going to happen tomorrow. I can wait a day, and then we can see what here is significant and what isn't. There is new maps, there is gun skins, some new mechanics, which is a bit interesting. You can swap out weapons on the fly if you find them on the ground. And most importantly, there is a bunch of weapon tweaks across the board. A lot of class changes as well, and they really revised a lot. Like, there's a lot of weapons that just got changed. And as you can see, gather from the title of this video, the Loch-n-Load has been changed. It has been nerfed. And it's been nerfed in a rather strange way. The 20% extra damage modifier, that's now in relation to buildings. So what I wanted to do today, because this is the last time we're going to see Loch-n-Load in its standard form, it's going to be changed from tomorrow. I kind of just want to talk about this weapon, because this is a weapon that people have been kind of outcrying for last couple of months for being so strong. And I've said before myself, I do think it is just a bit too strong. Most of the reason for this came that during the Christmas update they decided to add an extra pill to it and effectively buff it when it really was strong as it was, and it just made it just a bit too strong. It was just a bit too insane. This change though is pretty drastic, I've got to say. I was expecting that I was expecting them to nerf this weapon at some point. But I was expecting them to go back just to the old Loch-n-Load where it's just 2 pills, because that kind of works out, because you haven't got much ammo, so yes, it's a bit stronger, but hey, it works out, it's not too powerful. This just changes it into something else. Now you're supposed to be using the Loch-n-Load to fight buildings. And the reason that's kind of weird is because you're already playing a demo man, and you more than likely have a sticky bomb launcher if you're using the Loch-n-Load. Like, they go quite well together. You can put some stickies on the ground and then just kind of detonate them as you lob pills at the enemy and try and hit them either with the stickies or the pills you're throwing. So you have a sticky bomb launcher, and you're typically going to use that to destroy buildings. So it almost doesn't make sense to me, I'll be honest. It's a really weird way to implement it, because it changes how the Loch-n-Load actually works. As the whole point behind the Loch-n-Load was, yes, you have less pills, but if you manage to land body shots consistently, you're going to do more damage. So there's a risk-reward there. You're more likely just to not hit them because you really do have to land it, but if you do land it, you're going to practically kill them outright. And having the extra 20% damage there was huge, because it meant most of the time you're going to be able to do a consistent 120 damage, which is just under the max health of most classes, meaning that if they take even the slightest chip of damage before that, you're now going to kill them. With this, now your pills deal as much damage as the regular grenade launcher was. The only advantage the Loch-n-Load really has going for it now is that the pills fly 20% faster, and that's going to cost you a clip. Do you know what this actually reminds me of? The old Liberty launcher. And the funny thing is, they actually buffed the Liberty launcher in this one as well. They added yet another rocket to it because people still aren't really using it. But it reminds me of that, where it's like you're just going to have a slightly faster rocket, and then you're going to have a bit of a different downside. In this case, it's not reduced damage, but it is a reduced pill. But then if you add on top of that, that it essentially has the effects of the direct hit, where if you don't hit them directly, you're not going to do a thing. This weapon has serious downsides now. And I don't know how useful it is from that. Like, there's not really much of an advantage to actually using it. Interestingly enough, if you want a weapon that is now closer to the Loch-n-Load in terms of its effect, the loose cannon is actually a really good contender, because you have your 4 shots, and if you get the double donk effect, you're pretty much going to be doing, you're pretty much going to be kind of killing them with body shots, which is what the Loch-n-Load really excelled at before. So it's kind of funny how it's kind of shifted over to that one now. And it's just such a weird change to make, it really is. On another note, the timing of this is kind of fantastic. For anyone following the TF2 subreddit, which I wholeheartedly recommend, it's a good way to keep up to date on this kind of stuff. There is a man by the name of Stapler, or King Raja, as you may have seen him. And he just made a video yesterday titled, "Please Buff the Loch-n-Load." Now, it's a satirical video, just kind of like parodying how everyone's been complaining about this weapon for months on end, and Valve hasn't done anything about it. That went up an hour, like just an hour before this update was announced, which is just pretty funny in terms of time. I'd also like to take a moment just to talk about how this fits in relation to other updates for the game. Because a lot of people consider that the last major update for TF2 was actually the Love and War update. The reason for this is the variety of weapons that added, and the variety of taunts as well, which is just like kind of like just some fun toys really to have for the game. And the reason that Love and War gets it is because if you go through the other updates, we had Scream Fortress, which essentially amounted to bonus ducks and hats, which I don't know. I'm still not sure what the bumper cards really was. I don't know what was happening there. We had End of the Line, which like it was a great source filmmaker project, but in terms of actual content, really not much was added. And then we had the Smithmas update. And for a lot of people, manpower mode doesn't even qualify like as actual content for the game. Like, it looked like kind of just a weird mod that had been made official for the game, just thrown in. And again, like, a lot of people don't even play manpower mode. And in terms of the actual weapons that were added in the Smithmas update, a lot of them really haven't had a lasting presence. We had the Quickie Bomb launcher, which you don't see that often. We had the Iron Bomber, which is the grenade launcher variant. I actually have to look up the name for that one because I haven't heard of it in so long. And we had the Panic Attack, which is arguably the most interesting out of them, but no one was really sure what to do with it or what was it supposed to replace. I do actually like in this update they've gone back and buffed the Panic Attack, but it's still it kind of imparts the impression it's like, we're not sure what to do with this weapon. Let's just make it stronger. Someone will figure it out. It really does feel like that's happened. But yeah, in terms of actual updates, a lot of people do view the Love and War update as the last major one. So effectively it has been a year since we had like a really major content boost for Team Fortress 2. So it's pretty big now that we actually for this update. It is a bunch of weapon revisions that like ultimately change the weapons, a bunch of new maps, and then just a new mechanic thrown in as well, just to keep it really interesting. Again, I'm not sure how the swapping weapons on the fly is actually going to work out, but it is definitely going to be interesting. It's definitely kind of like a reason to pick it up. If you're a fan of CSGO as well, I imagine you must be kind of really enjoying all the variety of skins. I imagine it's going to have some sort of effect in the TF2 economy. Although with that said, TF2 economy's kind of gone to hell lately. I saw someone trying to sell bills in a game for like 2.5 keys, or even 3 keys. It's like, times have changed, they really have. At any rate, this is a much needed update for the game, I would say. Just having actual content and just having it out like this, like for the first time in quite a while, it is really great to see, and I'm happy to see it. Particularly so when we're just after E3, and there's an awful lot more games that are sort of like TF2 type sort of like kind of multiplayer shooters in development. Of course, Overwatch is one of the more notable ones, just because you hear about that one quite a bit. But there's quite a few other ones now as well. So again, more competition. TF2 has to up its game to sort of like kind of stay on top of these other shooters. It's good to see because it means there's more content for us. As people, obviously, Valve wants us playing TF2 above these other shooters. Like, it makes sense. They are a business. It's what they would do. So I'm really happy to see this anyway. I'll be doing my best over the next week or two to cover all of this. I say next week or two because there really is quite a lot here. So even some of the minor changes, like I'm kind of like debating like what I want to cover over other things. Like there was a change for the Dalakolas bar where you can now buff yourself to 400 health, and you can now drop it as a health pack for like your friendly medic. That's a pretty big buff for just the bar of chocolate that you didn't really see before. And on times 10 as well, like, oh god, I'm gonna be seeing like a 1000 health heavy now. That's another thing I'm excited for as well. Just with some of these tweaks, it's like, aha, a slight damage increase I see. To times 10 we go. So I'm looking forward to it anyway. Anyway, this is going to be it for this commentary. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I will of course see you tomorrow with the Gun Mettle update, and I'll be diving right on into it. As for tonight, make sure you hug your Loch-n-Load extra tight, because he's going to have a really rough day tomorrow, and who knows how he's going to be by the end of it. Goodbye and thank you so much for watching. I'll see you at something new soon.